I resented my job so much. And that was such a wild feeling for me because I would only hear of people hating their jobs and I couldn't understand why. Well, I could, but I couldn't resonate, you know. Hello, compliments of the new season, and a warm welcome back to my channel. I know, it's been a minute, but we are finally here. And let me tell you, before actually recording this video, I was contemplating a lot because I am not pleased with the current settings of, this new place. I wanted to get proper lightings and, decor so that I can have that pleasing aesthetic. But I figured, let me just work with what I have for now because I keep on procrastinating. So let me just work with this, and as time goes by, then we can, improve. So yeah, we are here now. Without any further ado, let's cut to the chase. Why did I come back? A move from the UK back to South Africa. Yes, baby, let's talk about that. I think that move was deeply spiritual. It was not my own doing. God has many ways of communicating with us. Sometimes it may not be, as vivid, but there will be glimpses. He will just give you signs, and that's exactly what happened this time around. Okay, let me just first give you, a bit of context, background to how we actually got here. So obviously I moved to the UK beginning of 2023, and I moved there as a senior accountant in advisory with one of the big four companies. And at first I was quite, exhilarated about being so brave to move to a new country all by myself. I didn't have, any family that side, relatives. So I was making the move by myself, and I've never truly been that far from my family because I grew up in South Africa. Everything was done locally. So I was just too comfortable because I would know whether I am in Joburg or Cape Town, wherever, it's still local. If anything happens, my family would be really able to, reach out to me, or I can easily just go home. By the way, home is in the Northwest. So making that move, it was a brave one, and it was really, fulfilling because I was, stepping out of my comfort zone, and I was quite impressed with my progress, and I was moving to a totally, different firm, and the methodology, the environment, everything was new. So for me, that was kind of like an adventure because I was learning about the methodology of the new firm, how they do things, their culture, and I'm also learning about, the new environment, the UK. So everything for me was, adventurous. So yeah, so the main reason that took me there obviously was, for my career, in pursuit of, greater things, and I was super ambitious. So when I started there in the UK, I hit the ground running, baby. And then I figured perhaps I'm too ambitious for this company or for this role, because I truly felt, discouraged by some of the people that I would refer to as my mentors, so we had a particular name that we called them. They were used to call, actually, let me not say that. Yeah, because I don't want to really give in too much information. But for some reasons, I kind of felt like perhaps I'm too ambitious. Maybe I should slow down. Yeah, so the first few months was still great, and I was quite impressed by how I quickly adapted to the new methodology, the culture. I was truly comfortable. The move was not as bad as I had anticipated, because one thing that I did, I prepared myself mentally that I'm going to a new country, I'm going to join a new firm. So I was quite, receptive, open to new challenges, to new ways of doing things. So I was really comfortable with it, and I think that's really what helped me there, because when new concepts were introduced, I wasn't against them, I was rather receptive. So yeah, but then few months down the line, I started to feel stunted already. And also, from the conversations that I would have with my peers and people who were there before me, I was starting to, question my move already. But I thought, okay, let me first give it, a bit of time. Their journey might not be my journey, but seeing how everyone was kind of like in the same boat, that already was a red flag for me. So what do I mean by that? I started to have conversations, in the office with people who have been there longer than myself, yet they were still in the same position as mine, and that truly baffled me, because I'm someone who is very ambitious, and I wouldn't want to be stuck in one role for more than 2 years. You get what I mean? So, and then at first it kind of seemed like people are now, complacent, or people are rather not as ambitious. But then I figured, no, they must have figured something that at the time I had not yet seen. And here's the thing, I keep on saying this, the career growth in the UK is rather slow compared to, South Africa. I guess also my mindset stemmed from how things were done in my previous firm, how I would see people, climbing the stairs, and that really, gave me that drive that, the sky is the limit. So that's the mindset that I had, because I did my articles at a medium firm, and I could see a lot of people progressing easily just after completing their articles. You are now a junior manager. The following year, man, you are a manager. That other year or 2 years later, you are now a director. Before we know it, you are now a partner. So that really introduced me to, a world of endless possibilities, and I thought that was a theme everywhere. And really, I wouldn't say you had to work extra hard to, achieve those milestones. Just by doing your best, giving your all, and yeah, just by doing your best and doing your work with due diligence, then you are set for that path. So, because also at my previous firm, I didn't think I was, a core hard worker. I was just doing my best, giving my best each and every day, and I was always, exceeding expectations. So that's the momentum I went in with in the UK, and I started to figure that things are a bit different here, and it seems like people have already accepted. I remember one time I was having a conversation with this other guy, and I was already sharing with him what my goals were. And when I shared, because yeah, obviously I was, shooting for the promotion, and he was like, for me, I'm not shooting for that, because the more work you get this height, you are not necessarily, compensated for it. What you get, in fact, is more work without an adequate compensation. But I thought, but I need challenge. I also need to see progression in my life, so I can't just be in the same position just so to avoid more responsibilities. So I just felt, okay, we all have different goals, so that was about it. And then later in the year, you would have conversations with your mentors and so on. And already when I shared some of my goals with my mentor at the time, I felt that she was not supportive. She actually, I think it's safe to say that she discouraged me because her reasoning was, I am still fairly new, perhaps after 2 years. I think she said two years or so, but the goal that I'm trying to achieve now, she doesn't think it's practical. And here was my standpoint, right? And my view was, you don't know my strength, you don't know what I'm capable of doing. So by the mere fact that I am still new here doesn't mean that I should be shooting for the moon. And also I could be coming from a different background, from because a lot of people, they come from different backgrounds, whereby before they joined the firm they were actually managers there, they were holding managerial roles, and having to come this side they had to step down. But that wasn't the case. I actually elevated by coming this side. So that was my argument, because that's something that we never had a conversation about. So why do you think I should wait maybe for 2 more years, because a year for me, that's valid. And my goals were actually aligned with, after 12 months, after, this certain time, then I think I should be able to do this based on my skill set. So I truly felt discouraged, but still I decided to just give it a bit of time. As I just got here, so let's just see how things goes. Plus my social life was very late. I was enjoying that a lot. I was able to travel, explore different places, seeing places that I could when I was young only dream of, and now that this is becoming my reality. So that was such a proud moment for me. So yeah. And then I want to talk much about my social life. I really want to us to touch base on like the career level. And then as time went by, I just had this feeling of being stunted. I felt like I'm redoing my articles, and and then sometime last year, I think I posted about this. I was just hinting on it here and there, whereby I was encouraging people to do a thorough research before moving abroad, because you might find that you will be in the same position as you were before leaving your previous firm. So that was me, and what truly baffled me was that at the time when I was working in South Africa, obviously I was still completing my articles, so I wasn't yet a chartered accountant. So now that I am qualified, yet I still feel like I'm a trainee. So really that didn't sit well with me, and then that's what really pushed me, that drove the hunger that I was having, the hunger for the new environment, for a change, something that would truly challenge me. So yeah, that was that. And also I didn't feel challenged enough, because I would wake up in the morning and I would know exactly what I'm doing. And I kind of felt like most of the times the challenge was there, but here and there. But I felt like my mind is not stimulated by what I'm doing. It's just like I'm not stimulated. This is becoming a routine, and I never felt like that before. Actually, while I was in South Africa with my firm, I was one of the few people that truly enjoyed audit. I was so passionate about auditing when everyone else was thinking of breaking out of audit. I actually envisioned a long-term future in audit. That's how much I was passionate about auditing, and that's the same mindset that I had going to the UK. But after, being in that role and my responsibilities which were not aligning with my expectations, then my passion for audit started to, diminish, and then certain things would just turn me off. In auditing, you have to have a big heart, because sometimes the client will just be rude to you. They woke up on the wrong side of the bed and they will just be questioning everything that you are requesting. For instance, you need a TB, the trial balance, general ledger, and someone will just be mean, asking, why do you need this? How am I going to perform the work without the general ledger, without the trial balance? How do you expect me to do this? So such things. And then that's normal. That's the normal audit environment. It can be toxic, but because I was passionate about it in South Africa, those little things didn't get to me. But now that I was disconnected from my role, and I was even questioning my move and my purpose altogether, so those things would get at me. Whereas back then, because these were not new things, these are normal standard behaviors. That I don't want to say standard, because when I'm saying standard behaviors, it's as if I'm condoning the behavior, but if you are in audit, you would know what I'm talking about. So clients do that, some managers do that, your team can make your life horrible, miserable, but you just have to have a big heart and not take everything and not internalize everything. And that's exactly the skill that I have cultivated over the years, since I have taken this career path. But those things were started to really hit me hard, and I would question, I think I already said this, I was questioning my purpose. And then at some point, I remember I resented my job so much, and that was such a wild feeling for me, because I would only hear of people hating their jobs, and I couldn't understand why. Well, I could, but I couldn't resonate. Yeah, I think that's the better word. I couldn't resonate with that, because I loved my job. When I do something, I pour all of my heart into it, you know even that's why I'm able to overcome all the challenges, because I'm passionate about what I was doing. But there, it was hard for me, I was overcoming the challenges, but it was also taking a mental toll on me, because I no longer love what I'm doing. And then just like that, that's when then a new thing, I would say a new thing was birthed, because I never thought of going outside of audit anytime soon, because I truly envisioned a long-term career in the audit space. But after that, then I felt that perhaps my time in auditing is over. And I just want to clarify one thing. This was not because of the environment. The environment on itself, it was a good environment, and the company also, I think it was fairly good. It was my responsibilities which were not aligned to my expectations, but it was not toxicity, which is why when I would be having these conversations with my people who were close to me, especially those who are not in the same field, it was difficult. I remember one time, before actually making anything formal or really taking the decision to come back home, I was on a phone call with my mom and my sister, and I explained to them that I want to be out of here, looking for a new role. I want something different. And then I remember their first question was, is it toxic? Are they abusing you? And I was like, no. And I remember my mom couldn't get it. So if the environment is fine, why do you want to leave? And is it the amount? I remember, I think she also asked about like the conversation, my paycheck, and I told her that, listen, the environment is really good. I'm pleased with my my earnings, everything is fine. It's just my my expectations with are not aligned with my responsibilities. I really feel stunted, and I feel like I'm not fulfilling my purpose anymore, you know. And then really it took some time before my mom could get it, and then it's something that I would try to avoid, because I would think to myself, perhaps I am so ungrateful because things are working out well for me. I am here in a different country, you know, and I'm able to explore Europe, an opportunity that a lot of people would die for. I am here, I'm able to save up, I'm able to accomplish, you know, major financial goals, yet I want to leave. Am I crazy? Am I so ungrateful? So it was not an easy one. I kept on praying about it, and sometimes, I don't know, I would feel convicted that, okay, yeah, convicted, yes, I felt like I wasn't grateful. And then I remember when I was having my conversations with God, I would say to God, God, I am truly grateful for this opportunity, but I don't feel aligned. It's no longer aligning. I don't think this is my calling. This is my purpose. I don't think I'm living my life. Waking up in the morning, it's such a dread. And this was such a wild feeling, because throughout my 3 year time in South Africa, in the auditing space, I never had that feeling. No matter how hard it would get, I would be burning my midnight oil just to complete the project, and I wouldn't feel like it's time for me to move, because the problem was not, you know, the challenges. It was just, you know, that alignment. So it really took some time before my mom could really, you know, grasp what I was saying. So I had to explain to her, I had to simplify it, when, like, I would draw analogies, because remember now my mom is not in the auditing space, so some things, some terminologies would not make sense to her. So I was just telling her that it's as if, I remember simplifying it in this way when I was saying, it's like I'm now in high school, but the responsibilities, the work that I'm doing, it's similar to what I was doing in primary school, you know. So yes, I am getting paid for doing the same job, I'm getting paid more, but the responsibilities are similar, hence I don't feel stimulated. So I feel like I'm reliving my primary school state, you know. I really had to simplify it like that. And my mom finally was able, you know, to understand where I was coming from, and then she also then gave me her blessings. And then, yeah, she gave me her blessings, and I was so pleased, because all this time when she couldn't understand, it was also very hard for me to actually start looking for, you know, opportunities outside of audit, or being active on anything, because I kind of felt like perhaps I'm not grateful, or, you know, those feelings that I was having. So after she really understood, so that gave me that courage that I'm not crazy. So it makes sense to my mom that that cannot be my life. Really, if I am in a different level, the responsibilities also should be different, so I should be progressing in life and not stunted. So yeah, that was truly validating for me. And then I remember also, you know, I was one of the few people in the UK who were not missing home. Most of my peers, people that we went to the UK at around the same time, were already fed up about the UK. They wanted to go home, not permanently, but just to visit. But I never had that desire. I would do the calcs, and it made sense for me to rather explore, you know, Europe than going home. But then after I was starting to have, you know, that disconnection, I remember early 2024, and then surprisingly, my okay, no, let me not share that, because it's not my story. So it's not my story to share. So yeah, beginning of 2024, I truly felt so much disconnect. Then I thought, perhaps if I go home, South Africa, everything would make sense, because even the UK itself, England, no longer made sense to me. I felt like, I don't think this is it anymore. You know, when you're just having that urge that you should be doing something else, this is not what you should be doing. And then it made sense to me then, because before I started to experience, you know, these feelings, I used to watch a lot of YouTubers, and they were talking about how they had to leave their corporate jobs to, you know, pursue this online career, being full-time YouTubers. And it didn't make sense to me that, okay, you were not abused, the environment was not toxic, why did you leave? Because I mean, if the money is there, why did you leave? So when I was going through the same thing, it made sense to me that you can actually leave the environment when you no longer feel connected to it, when it's no longer serving your purpose. And then I came back home for a visit, and it was such a pleasant stay. I was dreading, you know, going back. Yeah, I was really dreading, but I had to come back. And surprisingly, after some few weeks, when I got back to the UK, I've started to have the same feeling again, that, you know, longing for a new environment, longing for something different to fulfill my purpose, because this is no longer it. It was it for some time. Sorry. But now my time in audit is really over. So that's when I started to apply for, you know, other roles outside of, you know, your traditional audit environment. So, and then it took some time, but it was not a surprise, because I know people who tried to do that before me, they also had, you know, similar challenges. So in the UK, the main challenge was the sponsorship, because truly it was not silent. I was getting a lot of calls from prospective employers, your recruiters, but the main challenge was that they were not willing to offer a sponsorship, and I couldn't foot that bill. And this is something that we'll address in the next video, because I remember someone said, you claim to be affluent, yet you couldn't foot the bill. Why? And you know, things like that. And first of all, I don't remember claiming such. And secondly, just because I am able to live a comfortable life and do have, you know, some financial freedom, it doesn't mean that I should be footing everything that does not make financial sense to me, such as, you know, paying for the visa cost and all that. That was something that I was not willing to do, you know. So we'll address that in the next video, because I really don't want to, you know, divert much in this video. So yeah, the theme was common each and every day, same responses. Then I figured, man, I guess it's time to go back home. And here's my mindset. I thought, when I come back, this would just be a piece of cake. There will be no hassles whatsoever, because I mean, I'm a qualified chartered accountant with international exposure. So what do you mean? The world is my oyster. So I was so confident coming back. So that's the main reason why I came back. So I hope this clarifies, you know, all the questions that you've had. I really try to refrain from, you know, recording long videos, given that I'm still, you know, new in here and I haven't yet gained that, you know, confidence, people's confidence in me. So I'm avoiding really to make long videos. And also, I know people's concentration span is rather limited, so I still want us to talk about what happened when I got back, and what am I currently pursuing, and how I think are things going. And yeah, was it a wise move to come back to South Africa or not? So for now, we'll just leave it right here. Stay tuned for more, and thank you so much for your support, and please do like and subscribe. Yeah man, cheers. I will see you in the next upload.